Hey guys, this is Illusion Podfic, and today we're going to be reading I Didn't Ask to Die by Anita Supervision. This is Chapter 6. Tony, where are we driving? Honey Bear, is that distrust I'm hearing? Don't deflect on me, Tones. Rudy curses as the billionaire pulls into a parking bay, meant for buses, pointedly ignoring the honk of the cars for forgetting using the turning signal. Tony turns towards the man, pulling down his sunglasses. Why are you here? It's called minimalizing collateral damage. Hardy har. The billionaire rolls his eyes. Who sent you? Dear old Cap, or my madly disappointed and highly furious fiancé? Nobody needs to send me. I can tell on my own when my best friend is about to throw his image down the bin, replies Rhodey. I liked you more when you held my hair back as I vomited all over the college toilet. I've never held your hair back, Tones. Ignoring the other, Tony pulls back into the street. We're going to a lovely little place called Subway to visit my favorite server and delivery man, Peter Parker. That's the kid from the video, isn't he? It's the name of the kid who painted all over my building and seems to carry an incredible amount of unnecessary distaste against me, counters Tony. Rhodey can only sigh. The store is empty when they arrive. He can spot the kid behind the corner, cleaning. Shutting the car door rather loudly, he catches Parker glancing up, and Tony feels a sense of smugness when he observes the panic rising in brown eyes as the teen hurries to flip the open sign around. Too late. The doorbell rings, and the teen's shoulders visibly tense up. Tony saunters into the small place as if owning it. He glances around with mild interest before settling his gaze on the person behind all the trouble he is currently dealing with. Peter Parker has the nerve to look pissed at them being there, and Tony wants to laugh at the absurdity of it all, as he should be the one glowering at the teen. But being the adult, he straightens his shoulders, throwing a pressed smile into the room. I want the turkey special and the chicken one for my friend. We're closed already. The door is still open. You are a terrible customer. That's mild coming from you. Despite the icy glare, the kid walks past them to flip the sign and lock the door. On his way back, he throws Rhodey a curious glance before settling his icy glare at Tony. Tony wipes some imaginary crumbs from a table, and he leans back, arms crossed over his chest as he watches the teen scrutinize him from behind the counter. Rhodey sits down at a chair, keeping silent for now. You're going to take our order anytime now? The adults in the room throw each other a look at the string of curses that the kid doesn't even try to tone down as he turns around, and rather aggressively grabs a tablet and 2 baguettes. I want the honey mustard sauce, throws Tony in while the teen shoves the baguette in the oven. The kid looks him straight in the eyes after pulling the heated bread out before he squeezes a giant heap of garlic sauce onto the one half. Tony thinks about waiting before asking further questions, eyeing the knife with which the kid is spreading the sauce over the bread. How did you do it? I don't know what you're talking about. The kid puts a good amount of tuna cream into the bread. I said I wanted turkey. The kid looks up, taking out the container with the turkey slices, and walks into the storage room. He exits the room with a steel container containing more tuna cream, with which he promptly smears onto the already with tuna dripping baguette. We're out of turkey, he says without batting an eye. Rhodey watches the encounter with amusement. The kid continues working on their order, avoiding every question by adding condiments no one asked for with skilled fingers. I know it was you. Don't try playing dumb. The question is how you did it. Peter looks up, mustering Tony as if staring long enough would tell him what the man would dislike the most before grabbing a handful of olives and onions and placing them onto the baguette. I have no idea what you're talking about, Mr. Stark. The teen peels the black gloves from his hand and throws them into a bin before handing him over their order. Ignoring the monstrosity of a sandwich the kid tries to poison him with, Tony's eyes widen at the sight of Parker's hands. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? He squints at the in-black, color-covered hands. You're making no sense, Mr. Stark. The kid turns around, and the man catches sight of a black streak on the kid's neck, looking like a handprint from rubbing the back of his neck with dirty hands. You are covered in paint, one day after my tower got vandalized. Oh, this? Asks the teen innocently, glancing down at his blackened hands. His eyes meet Tony's with a little twinkle playing in them. The chain on my bike popped out. Got my hands dirty getting that back in. You don't even own a bike. Okay, I think it's time to calm down. Rhodey pulls his friend back by the arm before casting a glance at the knife the kid's about to put away. Both of you. The teen glares at them before he begins to clean the place up. Rhodey turns around and pulls Tony towards the corner, feeling the kid's eyes follow them without stopping his tasks. Tony, I get you're mad, and the story about the bicycle does sound suspicious, but what you are doing borders on stalking a minor. The kid is at least as stubborn as you. Throwing accusations at him without clear evidence is getting us nowhere, he hisses under his breath, pulling on the sleeve of his friend's suit as the latter continues glaring over his shoulder. "Oh, it's us now," mocks Tony, grimacing at his friend's advice. He should be the one doing the rational thinking, but the longer he bothers getting to the bottom of the enigma called Peter Parker, the more agitated he becomes. The kid glares back at him. Tony makes an "I'm watching you" sign, which gets rudely interrupted by Brody, who forces his hands down and hisses at him to stop picking a fight. The kid shakes his head and sticks his tongue out at him before turning around and washing out the dirty rag in his hand. "Tony, I'm always on your side, but even you'd have to agree that this isn't the way. You cannot continue following the kid and pressuring him to talk to you." "And what is your plan?" asks Tony, turning his heated gaze from the kid and turning back towards his friend. "He manages to make the company lose millions of dollars in a day. With that little paint job, the least he owes me is a couple of answers. This wouldn't have happened if you didn't stalk and shove him in a corner in the first place. Are you telling me this is my fault?" "Yes, that's precisely what I'm doing. It would help if you backed up, Tony. I'm serious, act civil, and don't throw your money around. You might get an answer, but don't force the kid." Tony knows Rhodey has a point, as much as it pains him to admit it. Glancing past the man, who's giving him a calculated look, he catches the Parker kid squinting at them from behind the counter. When the teen notices he's getting observed, he quickly looks down, the corner of his mouth pulling into a frown. Tony sighs, pulling his sleeve straight. God, kids could be complicated. Alright guys, that is the end of chapter 6 of I Didn't Ask to Die by In Need of Supervision. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you next video.